Well, welcome to this reflection for Easter 2. And as with every Sunday after Easter, we pause behind closed doors in John's Gospel, looking in on his conjoined accounts of Jesus' post-resurrection appearances to his disciples. Each year we hear how Thomas was missing on the first occasion. Each year we hear how Thomas refuses to believe until he sees Jesus for himself and looks at and touches his cross-bearing wounds. And each year we hear how Jesus then returns a week later to show himself to Thomas. And each year we hear Jesus pronounce, "Blessed are those who have not seen and have yet come to believe." Featuring annually as it does, clearly the story of Thomas is important. And yet this annual exposure has seen poor old Thomas gain a variety of titles over the years. Doubting Thomas, Tardy Thomas, or Too Late Thomas. I found a cartoon this week of Thomas holding up a plaque in front of two disciples. And it says, "All I'm saying is we don't call Peter denying Peter or Mark ran away naked Mark. Why should I be saddled with this title?" And the other disciples with him are shown saying, "Well, we see your point, Thomas, but really it's time to move on." But I'm with Thomas. Over the years, he's been labelled for doing what any of us might have done had we been a disciple at the time of Jesus' resurrection. How many of us, on hearing the others speak of seeing the risen Lord, would be content to trust their account if there was a possibility of seeing for ourselves? Then, as now, resurrection challenges our worldview. Jesus' resurrection was and is a hard concept to get our heads around. Mary Magdalene had seen and heard the risen Jesus at the tomb. The other disciples had seen and heard him as he appeared before them, as they huddled terrified in the locked room. Wouldn't it be natural for Thomas, therefore, to want his own experience of resurrection, his own encounter with Jesus? And isn't it natural that Jesus, who knows the secret of every heart, should know exactly what encounter Thomas required, and appeared before him a week later, speaking the very words Thomas needed, offering him the chance to hear him and see him and touch his wounds? And from his sceptical doubt, he moves to faith as he says, "My Lord and my God." Up until this story, faith came in the face of Jesus' physical presence. Seeing was believing. And yet only decades after these words were written by John, the last disciple had died. Never again would eyes, ears, hands or tongues that had physically seen, heard, touched or spoken with Jesus give testimony to his presence. Hereafter, we come to faith by hearing. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. We believe because others did and shared their stories of encounter with Jesus. John shares Thomas's story and shows us that in the face of Thomas's need for encounter, Jesus comes back because of his great love for Thomas. And it carefully shows how belief in Jesus comes through an encounter between doubt and scars. This past year, living with COVID in a worldwide pandemic, with social isolation and all the national and international tensions that we have seen, has brought doubt and scars to the fore. In the scars that Jesus bears before Thomas, we see the scars of suffering and tragic loss of life, the scars of exhaustion through dedicated service and sacrifice, the scars of fatigue through long COVID, the scars of self-doubt through unemployment and redundancy. Scars and doubt, yet we live in the hope and light of the resurrection and new life is indeed coming as we enter the next phase of the roadmap for recovery tomorrow. But there will be some, even many, who are finding the joy of Easter difficult to experience this year. And this was Thomas's story as he waited to meet the risen Lord. And Jesus came to him in love and opened a way through the marks of his own suffering so that Thomas might find a way to wholeness and belief. My Lord and my God. What Thomas's story shows is that accepting and understanding the resurrection is far from straightforward. And like Thomas, our individual faith journeys can fluctuate in degrees of certainty and intensity. And that's okay. Because what matters is that the same Lord who appeared to Thomas continues to be present to us, maybe not in flesh, but certainly in spirit, because of his great love for us. And in certainty and in fear, in doubt and in woundedness, Jesus lovingly waits for us to come to him, to experience his presence and be a part of his gospel as it spreads through each age and generation. Blessed are those who have not seen yet have come to believe. May those words echo in our hearts and lives as we seek to meet Jesus where he is waiting for us. Amen.